So we're back to talk about The Walking Dead World Beyond Season 2, Episode 4. The episode is called Family is a Four-Letter Word, and if you haven't seen this episode yet and you don't want anything spoiled for you, don't listen to this review. So episode 4 was another episode for me that left me sitting there not only at the end of the episode, but also as it was playing out going, really honestly, what the hell is the point in this series? Like, I don't see an overall purpose of the show yet. We've got 6 episodes left. We should have seen something. Like, we're 14 episodes in. We should have seen something that is we're building towards. All we keep building towards is Iris wants to get Hope and her dad out, but she thinks she can take on the CRM all by herself, and that's all we really get. We don't really get a lot throughout this episode, but this episode annoyed me in many ways. Not only because just so many things that I thought should have played out a certain way, and the way they didn't play out, I kind of thought it was ridiculous, and it's a way of them just being afraid. One of the things in particular is they really, really got to kill off a character. They actually haven't killed off any characters. They killed off Percy's uncle, who I think at the time was there for at most 2 episodes. And I could be pushing it. It could have been 1 full episode and the end of the episode before that. Can't remember exactly, but out of the main 4 of the kids and the 2 adults, they haven't killed off any of them. And they need to kill off someone. Like, there was moments in this episode where I actually, at first, I thought they were going to kill off Hook. Then I took a step back for a second and said, you know what? They don't have the balls to kill off Hook. Not only did they have a situation where Felix almost killed off Hook, but Percy also almost killed off Hook. And it is honestly baffling why they didn't go ahead with it. Felix literally holds a walker right up against her face, and that's a moment they should let her kill there. I thought that would be a pretty badass moment for Felix to show that he put his emotions over his logic of what obviously makes sense, in that he shouldn't kill Hook, which would have made more sense, especially with the path his character is going down, where he seems to be following Iris's leadership a lot now. He's putting all his logic to the side and just following whatever Iris says, and I think having him do that would show that he's going down that path a lot more, and he's not really thinking about what he's doing. I would have hated to see him do it because it would have been a stupid decision, but that's what the show is all about, stupid decisions. And then Percy's one, that one baffled me, because that guy had loads of opportunities. We even saw him in the scope, and he had loads of opportunities, but he just chose not to take it. And then Will comes in, and he's using Will being there as an excuse to why he didn't do it, which is honestly baffling. But one of the other things that really annoyed me about that whole thing with a Hook was, she says she's going on a walk. She went on a walk because they got the character there, and they didn't know what to do with the character when the character was there. It was very obvious that's why they put her on a walk. But even as she's walking around, in particular when Percy's looking at her, as she's walking around, the way she's walking around, I feel like I'm nitpicking now, but the way she's walking around, it's like they said to her, just walk over there and then just do whatever you have to do. She's looking at a statue. The whole thing, the whole scene, and everything about that scene really, really irritated me, and it served no purpose except to fill out the runtime of this episode, which really, really, to no ends, annoyed me so much. We do see Elton actually seeing Hope, and because of that, he does kind of freak out a bit. Understandably, of course. The last time you saw Hope told him that, oh yeah, by the way, I killed your mother. Not only your mother, but your pregnant mother. I killed her. All the hope you had, yeah, I'm going to take that away because that's my name, Hope. I'm going to take all your hope away. Your mother's dead. Now go off into the world by yourself and just find out who you are out there. What Hope done was a terrible, terrible thing what she done to Elton, and then Elton starts to freak out. Understandably, he goes, I can't see her, she can't see me, I cannot be in this situation right now. So he runs off with the young girl who he met in last week's episode, and then he comes across some weird kind of cabin in the woods. It's like a cabin built out of sticks, and inside it they got medical supplies. And then the young girl, who's also part of the other community, says, oh yeah, that's mine, I'm sick. It's later revealed in the episode that it's actually not her, it's the mother, who of course is the leader. So of course, if they found out it was her sick, they would kind of strip her of her title of being the leader, because they can't have someone in the leadership position who's very sick in that way, and also have her very sick in that way, and also putting their kind of livelihood at risk by working with the CRM for the CRM supplies so she can stay healthy. So of course they have to keep that a secret, but that storyline with Elton, it was a storyline that made sense. It's something that I think would have been very odd if we didn't get it. If Elton just went up, hugged Hope, and said, "Oh, it's good to see you again," that whole storyline would have been very, very odd. So I'm kind of glad they didn't go down that road and they actually made sense of what they were doing, because if they did go down that road, it would have irritated me, the fact that that's what they ended up doing. Also, we do catch up with Silas. We didn't catch up with him last week, as far as I remember, but we see how they actually go about luring the walkers there. We see that we found out earlier in the season that Hope and Iris's dad has been putting tracking devices on the walkers, so they're using the tracking device to walkers to bring them in, and then of course they have loud music as if it was a concert blaring, bringing the walkers in. The walkers walk through there, the mines blow them up, and then that's how they eliminate the walker threat. But Silas does, his plan is to stock up on the supplies. He's getting ready to leave there. He tells the guy who's in charge there of why he needs to go save his friends because of someone named Hook. Of course, this guy is married to Hook, but he doesn't know her as Hook. He knows her as Jennifer. So he's saying, this person Hook, I'm sure your friends can take care of her, not knowing that he is talking about his wife. It was fine, the Silas scene, but this in particular is like someone throws something at Silas. I think it was the boss. He was giving out to him saying, if you like daydream it there, you could die. It's ridiculous. We can't be put there. He throws something at Silas, and then Silas just grabs it and goes, "You better not do that to me again." And Silas, like, I get why he's saying that, but the guy had every right to be annoyed at him. Silas was risking his life, and in the process of risking his life, he could have risked someone else's life by them running in to save him. I got where they were both coming from. Silas in that situation just didn't like his attitude, didn't like the way Silas handled the situation, and it's just another situation where I didn't really like the characters. Also, when I was talking about Percy actually almost killing Hook, Will reveals himself to Hook, saying he's not dead, and Hook was shocked, but she wasn't as shocked as I thought she would be. But we know she won't say anything, because if she says something, they're going to be like, "How do you know that? Why were you outside the walls?" And then, of course, so it's in her interest not to say anything. It's in their interest for her not to say anything. So it works out well for everyone. But the only other storyline I haven't mentioned on is Iris and Hope. They just kind of sit around chatting for a while. And it has gotten to the point now where she is unbearable to watch. She is... It's painful to actually watch Iris now at this stage. She thinks she's so cocky, she's so arrogant, she's so entitled, and she thinks that she is the one who's going to take down the CRM. If this was Rick and Daryl, say if Daryl was going on, like, just to think back to season 9 when they're in that hole and they're shouting at each other, if Daryl was saying that at Rick, you'd be looking at Daryl going, "Daryl, come on, you know better. You know you can't go in there and take the CRM down by yourself." But Daryl would be doing it. But Daryl will have something to back himself up with, where he has done things. He's taken down a tank with his bare hands. He has done things that are completely badass. Iris hasn't done shit. She has no reason to be as cocky as someone like Daryl or any other of the characters who have done badass things. Daryl has blown up people with a bazooka. That's not me saying Daryl could take the CRM down by single-handedly. But even if Daryl did say all this stuff, I'd be like, "Daryl, what the fuck you saying?" But Iris has nothing to back herself up with, and that is what annoys me about Iris. How cocky she is, where she's only killed one person. And the person she killed, it was a surprise attack, and she struggled to kill that guy. Iris, I cannot stand her talking. She's telling Hope she needs to stay there and they'll break in and steal their dad. Who the fuck does she think she is that she can break into the CRM? Rick Grimes has been there for 6 years. Of course, we don't know what Rick has been doing for the 6 years, but Rick hasn't gone home to his family. There's a reason Rick hasn't been able to go home for his family. Why the fuck do you think you can break in there and do what Rick Grimes has not been able to do? It's just something I just cannot stand her character, and I hope that in the end of the season, there's 6 episodes left. My prediction is the majority of these characters are going to die, and I'm praying Iris could be one of those characters. If she doesn't die, I hope we don't see her again. If we see her in the Rick Grimes movies, that is going to like drop the Rick Grimes movies down by a star rating for me, probably, because I cannot stand her character at all. People always hated on Bet. Now, I was not a fan of Bet. I didn't hate Bet. I didn't love Bet. Whenever she started singing, didn't like that. But just Bet as a character herself, I liked Bet at moments. But again, it was a love-hate relationship with me and Bet. But Iris is someone who I think you can compare to Bet and be 10 times worse, because Iris has had a cookie cutter life. Nothing's ever challenged her, nothing's ever scared her until she left the walls 10 years into the apocalypse, and she thinks she has now survived the apocalypse. Well, technically she has survived the apocalypse, but she thinks she has now defeated the apocalypse, which honestly I don't think she has any right to say she has. And honestly, I cannot stand her character whatsoever. But if you want to my future reviews of The World Beyond, episode 5 will be dropping next week. I wonder what that's going to be all about. Really don't know. I'm quite excited just to mostly get through the season so we can get to the end of it and then see how it's going to tie into the Rick Grimes movies, because it's going to have to. This whole TV series was a setup for the Rick Grimes movies, and I wonder how it is. I imagine Elizabeth Kublik won't die. I'd like to see her in the movies, but I really don't know. Even in the episode, Hook was asking her for information. She goes, "Oh, it's not your ranking. You can't know that." And she goes, "Ah, yeah, but I'm not asking as a ranking, implying like I'm asking as your daughter." And she goes, "Just don't." She gets very firm, very annoyed. Really, I do like the Elizabeth Kublik character. I actually would probably say she's my favorite character in the series, and I really would love to see her up against Rick Grimes, because Rick Grimes is always good at staring people down. Whenever he has a fight, he just stops. And you can see from what we've seen of Elizabeth Kublik so far, she's really good at that too. So I would love to see Rick Grimes and Elizabeth Kublik stare down. Hopefully, we will get that in the movies. But anyways, who knows? Again, though, if you want to see any Walking Dead content from me in the future, click the subscribe button. And as always, thanks for watching.